Hey, hello and welcome to Living Philosophy's first live stream. Been having some technical difficulties. I guess that's how things go. So back on the webcam, but yeah, no, this is pretty exciting. It's pretty cool. So thanks for people for showing up, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. This is it's a weird experience. I'm nervous again. So yeah, I haven't had that for a while with the channel. So it's kind of it's exciting in that way. So yeah, I mean, a few things we're going to cover today. I just thought, kind of thinking about, well, what kind of content would I actually like to put up for this, and what could I do? I knew I wanted to do a live stream because I thought it'd be a good challenge, try something new, and get out of my comfort zone again. But so I thought, well, but what will I do in terms of content? And so kind of come up with a few things, but I thought it'd be a good opportunity to just talk about the other philosophy channels in the community. So I thought I would just show you some of my favorite other philosophy channels, and yeah, just see what you think. Kind of show you kind of little snippets of them, and I'll put links in the description, and I'll just talk about a few other developments that are happening, and I'll probably do a little bit of a spiel at the end, something along the lines of what I was doing in the first 100 days of videos. So just kind of spieling a few ideas, and then yeah, just if there's any questions, I see TheStrikingStoic is sending a question. Thank you very much. And yeah, if there's any other questions, then I will get around to those. So yeah, bear with me if there's any more technical hitches, because this could be, I mean, it's a learning curve. So I'm gonna try something, and let's just see what happens here. Let's see if we can get this to work. Oh yeah, so that was the intro. I hope you saw I hope you saw that. Otherwise, it's just me being silent for a minute. So yeah, yeah, so I'm not gonna be able to edit this out, so you're just seeing me hum and haw. So yeah, this is kind of weird, but yeah. So I just thought I would share with you some interesting other philosophy channels, and the first one I want to show you is from the oh technical difficulties. So yeah, is from a channel called Eternalized, and Eternalized is class. This is someone who has just been really supportive along the journey, and that's been really cool. He's been kind of just an inspiration, I think, and just like a help, a sort of mentor for a lot of smaller philosophy channels, and has kind of created a community. And there's a great Discord community that I just love. Like, there's so many little ins and outs, and he's just a great guy, but he also makes some great content. And yeah, so a lot of videos, loads of stuff to dig into, and really top quality stuff. So I thought I'd just show you the start of one of my, well, it would be my favorite video of his, and you'll see why straight off the bat. So this is existentialism in 10 minutes. So yeah, I thought we just covered the first minute of it, and just get an impression of him, because I think this is really cool. I mean, what a place to start. What is the meaning of life? That's what philosophy is all about, right? So yeah, let me know if you can't hear this. I assume you can hear it. So yeah, and then he just kind of goes off and talks through those different main thinkers. But for me, you can see, like, if you know my channel, you can see why I adore this, because it's all about, I mean, what is the meaning of life, but also like the looking at living philosophy, turning away from just the intellectual thing, and focusing on what it means to be alive. So he's got a lot of videos on existentialism. He looks at Taoism, a lot of really interesting stuff there. I'll put a link down in the description to that video, and I'd highly recommend checking him out. And yeah, it's a channel that's doing very successfully, and I'm delighted to see it going successfully. So that would be the first recommendation. The second one is from The Striking Stoic, and this is a smaller channel that I just think there's some really interesting, really great content here. And the video I want to share with you is called Self-Destruction: The Road to Self-Improvement. And again, you're going to see, if you've watched my videos, if you've heard me talking about the value of suffering, the meaning of suffering, well, this just kind of like encapsulates it. It's a great, highly recommend it. Boom. That's what it's all about. So yeah, I love that. Like, I think that this is the first video I saw about a striking stoic, and yeah, I just thought that was like, wow, that is so cool. So yeah, someone whose channel I would highly recommend checking out. Really cool stuff. And oh, right. So I see now. You can't hear the audio from the videos, so that's good to know. I should probably be keeping an eye more on the things. So yeah, what you just saw was a minute a minute of video and no audio. So yeah, as I said, there was always going to be technical hitches here. So let me just see if I can do anything. Well, do you know what? I'll probably bail a little bit on it. Will I bail on it? Yeah, I should probably bail on it, right? Yeah, okay. So yeah, let me just talk you through a couple of other channels and show you what else is going on. And yeah, forgive the technical hitches. This is the nature of live broadcast, people. This is the way it goes. So yeah, shame I can't do that. I'll see if I can get that fixed at some point in the future. I've been a whole new skill set to learn with doing this live stream and stuff, and it's just been kind of yeah, it's been a whole new learning curve. So it's been really exciting. But yeah, even just up to like like I spent about half an hour before getting on this broadcast trying to figure out, oh, what's going on here, what do I do? Because I've got my other camera, so that is like much higher quality, and I was like, oh, this should be good, this should be a good one. But then yeah, it just didn't work. So I kind of thought, well, I'll work with the audio, because it's just, I've got one USB, so it's kind of like, what do I prioritize? So I ended up prioritizing audio. I feel like it's probably the more important thing. But yeah, just things like that, you never know when you're gonna get the old technical hitches. So we live and we learn. We live and we learn. But let me just show you a couple of other channels. I mean, the links will be down in the description, so yeah, you should check him out. You should check him out. So this is another channel called Equilibrium, whose videos I'm really enjoying. They're great, really short videos, kind of diving into kind of historical. He talks a lot about ancient philosophy as well, which is really that's my thing, because they're all talking about the living philosophy, how to live life, how to reach flourishing, how to reach the good life. So yeah, he covers a lot of topics on that. And the two I'd highly recommend are this one, Philosopher Who Defecated in Public. So you'll remember a couple of weeks ago I did a video on Diogenes, and actually, the audio isn't necessary for this, because what I love about his channel is the look at this, look at his artwork. It's just like beautiful animation style. So it's really cool. I recommend his stuff. Very visually engaging and really interesting stuff. And he's also got a bit of good wit kind of streaked through what he's doing. So in the Plato's allegory of the cave, he's got this just this cool thing. And I love the combination of philosophy and wit. So Plato's head shoved on a speaker is always kind of funny. But then yeah, and this is probably just me being childish, but I find this is hilarious. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, recommend Equilibrium, another great channel to check out. And another one is AmygdalaVids, and again, loads of great topics and really like distinctive art style. So really appreciate AmygdalaVids' videos. And yeah, just give you a quick snippet here of just the start to show his art style and what he's doing. So he's got this like old movie style thing going on with yeah, Play-Doh, and this is him, AmygdalaVids. So yeah, those are just 4 channels that I really like, covering philosophical topics and really interesting stuff. So highly recommend all of those. And as I said, there'll be links down in the description. All this stuff well worth checking out. So yeah, I mean, what do I want to do now? I guess, yeah. So like the next thing that I kind of wanted to talk to you all about is that so I'm starting a new podcast. So me and my friend Hannah are starting a podcast on dream interpretation. Now I've done a couple of videos on dreams on the channel in the past, and they were yeah, they were cool, but I just couldn't find the right place for them. I just couldn't feel, and as well, like when I'm interpreting dreams, normally it's with friends, and there's like there's a dialectic, I guess you'd say. There's a back and forth. There's a dynamic where you're questioning, and there's a bit of feedback. So it kind of just felt like I was taking it out, and it was different from the dream process, the dream analysis process, where it was just like I was coming with a finished thing. So what I'm really looking forward to with Hannah is just having this dynamic of back and forth, because she's got a different approach to interpreting dreams to me. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. That's kind of been giving me a buzz between that and the live feed. There's been a bit of a kick with all that. So yeah, again, I'll put a link down in the description to. So we've got ourselves a channel here. So it's called Living the Dream. You know, sticking with the living theme, but also it's, you know, living the dream works on multiple levels. I'm sure you can see, because it's about living the dream. You know, like living the good life, but it's also living the dream. You know what I'm saying? It's about yeah, it's about living the wisdom of dreams, like interpreting dreams and being like, well, what can I learn from this? How can I apply this to my life, and trying to use that and create a feedback loop between dreams, which I've done in the past. I'm not as in touch with my dreams at the moment, but yeah, so like but once you get into that loop, it's a really, really interesting process, not to know where the wisdom of the unconscious begins and your own conscious life ends. So yeah, so I'll put a link down in the description if any of you are interested to subscribe to that. As you can see, I am the only subscriber at the moment, but also I've created a Facebook group, so I've also linked that down below. So I think just for if you're looking for the place to share it, either, or just kind of more community, a place to share and interpret dreams, then this group would be the thing. Or else if you're not on Facebook, you want to message me with some dreams, then I'm also on Reddit, u/the living philosophy, or just message me on Twitter, playtotes at playtotes is my handle. Plato, you know, totes Plato. So yeah, that's really exciting. And kind of something else that's kind of happening is that we're coming towards the end of the second 100 days. So the way I'd kind of visualize the progression with the channel was, obviously the first stint was 100 videos, 100 days, and that was me just kind of going off the cuff. What thoughts are kind of bubbling up in me, and just getting it out there, and just learning to create, and learning to just learning a few editing skills, but mostly just trying to keep up that creative production and not get stuck in perfectionism, because that is something I'm very much prey to in the past. So yeah, so yeah, with the first 100 days it was about that, but with the second 100 days I said I'll put out 2 videos a week, and I will try and get deeper into the actual research, and actually trying to get over my perfectionism, and trying to just keep the creation process going. So that's been yeah, that's been challenging, but it's been good, and I feel like slowly getting a handle on it. And I think we're coming up around 80 days, so maybe there's 2 or 3 more weeks left of this kind of approach. So after that, in 2 or 3 weeks time, we're going to start pulling back to 1 video a week. And then what I want to start doing is actually focusing more on the writing side of things, because yeah, just I guess whenever I first read like Albert Camus' Myth of Sisyphus as a teenager, when I first got into philosophy, it was all about the yeah, I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be one of the great philosophers. Still do, you know, that hasn't gone away. I suppose, yeah, we've all got our delusions. So yeah, so what was I talking about? Yeah, live broadcast, people, live broadcast. So yeah, I was talking about Myth of Sisyphus and creation, and yeah, so I wanted to be a writer. So yeah, I want to get back to the writing process more regularly, because I've kind of just been gassed out with kind of keeping up with the making videos. So I want to turn the previous videos I've made into articles, and yeah, so last year there's a good few articles I have up on Medium. I should probably link that down in the description as well. But we've also got the Living Philosophy publication over there on Medium, so trying to get that going more. And actually I'd love if any of you are interested in creating some philosophical articles. The Living Philosophy is always a home for a good philosophical or psychological exploration. So yeah, there's also the website, so it's not just Medium. So we'll be going for getting more articles up on the website, and yeah, kind of just trying to build out the writing side of things more, and trying to just expand the so yeah, this is the Mediums, and this is the website. So yeah, just trying to expand that portfolio a bit more, and get more into the writing side of things, and creating a kind of a holistic approach, because I think that videos are awesome, but also with writing you can do different things, you can get deeper into things. So yeah, that's kind of just the plan for the future, kind of getting into the dream podcast, and then in 2 or 3 more weeks, kind of moving back to one video a week, going deep into that. And then yeah, just building out the writing side of things as well. So yeah, I think that's everything that I kind of wanted to look at. So I guess let's well, yeah, if you have any questions, so let's see what we got here. Striking Stoic. Yeah. Well, welcome Shogun Hartman, Nathan Crack, Alan Cusson, Striking Stoic. So yeah, like welcome guys, and thanks for tuning in, and yeah, correcting me, and laughing at the follies of live recording. So yeah, Striking Stoic, just to answer your question there, yeah, I've not read any well, I've read only a tiny amount of Schopenhauer. So my knowledge of him only really comes through Nietzsche, and yeah, I mean, I don't really know why I've gone there. It's just, or why I haven't gone there. He's kind of he's someone that interests me, but I know that, yeah, I guess maybe the fact that Nietzsche talks a lot about him, and Nietzsche felt that he grew past him, so it kind of put me off him a little bit, I guess. So that was kind of a bit, yeah, like I guess that steered me a little bit away from him. But I do find him, he's a compelling character. I do think, especially The World as Will and Representation, I will be reading that at some point, because I know he's into Eastern philosophy, and like I feel like his worldview I would find it quite interesting, even if I don't agree with it. I believe he would be a very stimulating thinker, and yeah. So I have embarrassingly little to say about Schopenhauer. So yeah, you've revealed my inadequacies. So what is the meaning of life? That's a good one, isn't it? That's the classic. What is the meaning of? I did come across a really good saying. A writer on Medium kind of tackled this, and he said that let's see if I can do this without butchering it. He said that there's no meaning to life, but yeah, and I'm going to butcher it because I can't really remember the second half. There's no meaning to life, but life can be filled with meaning. You give life its own meaning, and I guess that's the absurdism of Albert Camus. And that's the life might not have any meaning. Life probably does not have any meaning. God is dead, but the meaning is that which we like. We can have lives filled with meaning, because as humans, there doesn't need to be an objective meaning for there to be an objectively subjective meaning, I guess. Thinking of objectivity in terms of the psyche, as Jung would put it. So yeah, does life have a meaning? I mean, we could go on with that for a long time. It's like asking, do you believe in God? I mean, it's just it's a rough question, and I feel like I'm a bit too green in life to really give a good answer to that. Something that often comes to my mind is Plato saying that you shouldn't study philosophy until you're over 50. And I think that's probably him coming from a more mystical kind of Pythagorean wisdom kind of outlook kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, I'm postponing it to that. Of course, Epicurus then came along and said everyone should study philosophy, because philosophy is about living the good life, and you're never too young to learn how to live well, and when you're old, you reap the wisdom of it. So, I mean, yeah, he didn't like Plato, did Epicurus? No harm in that. But yeah, I don't really know. I don't think there's an objective meaning to life, or at least I haven't discovered it. Maybe if I took enough DMT, go into the void. Who knows? Who knows what you'd discover there? But yeah, I mean, I don't know what the meaning of life is. I guess that's the long way of saying that. So yeah, great question. A question we should all be asking, isn't it? How to get over the mundanities, how to cut past the nonsense, and get to the real marrow of life. Get to the real marrow. So Arpid, what's Arpid saying? Life doesn't have a meaning, but we make it by blurring some perspective to every action we make. Well, there you go. We've all got our perspectives on it. We've all got our wisdom to bring to the table. So yeah, interesting question. And yeah, I mean, I guess unless anyone else has any other questions, yeah, I guess there's a bit of a delay, so you're not going to hear me say this for like 10-20 seconds. But yeah, this has been interesting. It's been a learning curve. I think I will do more of them in future, because this is yeah, it's kind of fun. It's more like chatting to people. Like when I'm up here making videos, normally it's not really like the feedback loop of chatting. It's more, yeah, you feel more isolated. So this is like, I guess it's got the vulnerability of live broadcast, but also feels more conversational, and I guess that's why I'm a bit more silly. Um, so yeah, like, this has been really cool. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And yeah, like, as I said, check out the links down in the description. Sign up if you're interested in dreams. Sign up for Living the Dream, so that you too can live the dream, you know. And check out those other philosophy channels, because there is some really good content out there, and it seems to be like a philosophical renaissance. It just seems to be a lot of like philosophy channels just getting started out on YouTube, and there's a lot of really interesting content, and it seems to align with my like what I feel philosophy is about, which is about living it, about grounding that wisdom into your everyday life, and trying to become a better person all the time, and trying to live the best life possible. And that's why we're turning to these ancient philosophers, because they were very much prepossessed by that question. And yeah, so like, that's been cool. I just remembered that I did say I would share a thought, kind of like the first 100 days. So yeah, what I've been thinking about recently, and just because I've been reading Epicurus, and then that video I made about Nietzsche and the Stoics, and you think about the idea of philosophy and civilization when it reaches a certain point. So I'm thinking kind of in a spiral dynamics mold here. Once you go from the kind of level blue, not fundamentalist religion, but when religion is the dominant world view. So you've got like, so here in Ireland we would have had Catholicism, that would have been the main thing, and that's level blue. But when that starts to break down, you lose that universal story of the truth. And why does that start to break down, and how does that start to break down? Well, it's probably the bringing in of other cultures. You're starting to see these other perspectives, and once these other perspectives are kind of slotting in, you begin to go, well, I mean, we're saying that like we're the only ones that go to heaven, and then anyone else goes to hell. But what about them? They're from a different culture. They never had that choice. Could it really just be a coincidence of where I'm born? Could the universal truth have really just shown up here? I mean, maybe not. But so like, and I think that's how it starts to creep in. And what's interesting is you get that multi-perspectivism. You get stuff like nihilism kind of seeping in, where you go, well, I guess there's no objective truth, because clearly these two belief systems are absurd. And so you get that nihilistic thing creeping in. But what you see happening then, what I've been thinking, what I've noticed, is that what you see happening is you resort to, well, what is the higher truth? What is the higher truth that remains to us if you strip away the universal truth of our religion? And what we go back to is nature. We go back to the thing that cannot be denied, which is our own nature, the nature around us, the things that cannot be influenced by just human thoughts and ideas, but are there eternally. And it's yeah, and you see that kind of now, like, science becomes that explanation, and we look for evolutionary explanations, and the story of mankind is no longer Adam in the garden, but it's the fossils we find. It's the evolutionary story we have of human history. So that is kind of the journey we go on. And I think that's really interesting, that at a certain point we still look for that universal. We still look for that universal story that has a like perennial resonance, and where we turn to that is to nature. But as Nietzsche points out about the Stoics' interpretation of nature, it's very much their interpretation. It's very much their reading on. It's what are they projecting into nature? Because this struck me with reading Thoreau. So I'm doing a video this Sunday on Henry David Thoreau, and his vision of nature is that it's so almost, it's, I guess, like the Stoics, it's like this beautiful, peaceful place, and it's not the nature red of tooth and claw, as Tennyson says. So it's that, yeah, there's something really interesting that we go for the universal explanations, but we still fill it with our very personal associations. So it's just something that I've been kind of thinking about recently, because it really struck me, and I imagine now I'll start to see more and more of it. But it was something that struck me with Epicurus and with Nietzsche and the Stoics, and now with Thoreau. It's just been like, wow, this is really interesting to see, like, developmentally, that we still look for that common ground underpinning all culture, looking for that common shared ancestry and heritage, and the thing that we all are connected to. The source becomes Mother Nature, nature herself. So yeah, that was kind of that little thought. And we've got one more question. It would be cool to learn about your thoughts on art, your favorite paintings, etc. I spot the hopper on the wall. Do spot the hopper on the wall, and I was wondering if someone would bring that up at some point. What are my thoughts? I've always felt with painting that I feel like this with like classical music and stuff as well, that I feel very much uncultured. I feel very much basic. Yeah, so I would have been one of those people that hated on modern art, that thought, wow, what is the point in this? Why is there a sleeping bag? And now I'm starting to like get it a bit more. And yeah, like I guess I really appreciate it, but I still don't have a fully philosophically developed thing on it. I mean, there's particular paintings that really strike me as Jacques-Louis David, I guess it would be David, paintings. So he would have been around the Napoleonic time. So he did the portraits of Napoleon. A lot of his paintings were classical themes of like Rome and Greece, but they had a contemporary message to the French Revolution. And his paintings, I guess, because of that kind of content, so the religious paintings tend not to do that much for me. And I mean, there's some of them that are great, but I just found with Jacques-Louis David, because it's tapping into that time of history that so fascinates me and that really captivates my heart, that it strikes me deeper. And there's just such massive paintings in the Louvre as well. They're gigantic. So I really love his painting style, and like his content. And obviously the room over from those paintings is the Mona Lisa, and I find that quite like that was something that I thought I'd seen it when I was a kid, but when I went back there as an adult, I expected it to be underwhelming, but there was something that just kind of captivated me about it. And yeah, so like that, I guess that's more like classical kind of paintings. But yeah, something that fascinates me then is, so I've been looking at Edward Munch. Is it Edward or Edmund? Mr. Munch, anyway. And his paintings really kind of fascinate me, because they've got that streak of darkness running through them. That streak of angst, I guess, that he captures that quite well. And yeah, but I guess on that level, it's just a little of a feeling level. But really, I would say that I'm very much unlearned in the world of art, and I feel like it's a rabbit hole I might go down at some point, just to try and culture myself and get some deeper appreciation of it. But I would say, yeah, like I see what some people get out of art, and I'm just like, wow, really? Like, and the way Nietzsche talks about like classical music, and I'm just like, some of it's class, but like I don't know if I would say that like life is not worth living without it. I mean, yeah, but I get that with modern music. I guess I get that with like something like Bob Dylan or something. So yeah, I mean, art is a tricky one. So yeah, those would be my thoughts on it. Thank you for the question, May. And yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really have much more. Actually, I guess on the subject of talking about the art, I did think one thing that I found really cool, and this was like probably the peak of definitely peak of 100 Days, is like one of my favorite Irish bands is a band called Bell X1. And so I made a video in the 100 Days on the Irish psyche, kind of comparing some of their songs to my favorite Irish poet, which is Patrick Kavanagh. And he's got really, it's just that salt of the earth kind of thing. It's so grounded, while it's sublimely grounded. It's got that touching heaven and earth. And I find that in Bell X1's lyrics as well. So anyway, I made a video about that, and in my brief times on Twitter, I tweeted it out to them, and this was just one of the highlights for me. I got a tweet back from like my favorite band, so that was kind of a cool thing. I appreciated that. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's everything that I wanted to cover on this episode of The Living Philosophy. Thank you for tuning in for this what was inevitably going to be a technically fraught endeavor. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time, guys. Thank you for watching. Let's see if I can end it now. Ooh.